Watch this video. I will be right back.
This is from the New York Times. These are maps of diabetes. The top map is New York City. Everybody's drinking the same drinking water. The darkest areas on the top is Harlem, where the African Americans predominate in the community. And then the Bronx, and is it Queens? I don't know New York City very well. But two other areas where minorities and poor live. Why do they have much higher rates of diabetes than the rest of the affluent part of New York City? The answer is that we discovered after Chernobyl that the state milk boards are taking the most contaminated radioactive milk from dairies near nuclear power plants, and they're shipping that into black inner city communities where it's sold in the mom and pop stores. Look at Africa in the bottom map. It has the lowest diabetes in the world. So how can diabetes be genetic in blacks if they didn't have it in Africa? It's because U.S. national policy to treat the black communities with radiation.
Now, the revelation reported by the New York Times regarding the alarming rates of diabetes in New York, particularly within African American community, is deeply troubling. The darkest theory exposed a sinister connection between contaminated milk and the prevalence of diabetes in these communities, sheds light on a disturbing practice that borders on racial injustice. Poisoning any community based on their skin color is an egregious violation of human rights and ethical standards. The idea that radioactive milk sourced near nuclear power plants is intentionally being distributed in areas predominantly inhabited by African Americans is not just a health concern, but a grave ethical issue. This practice disproportionately affects vulnerable populations, perpetuating systemic disparities and contributing to health crises. Poisoning communities based on their racial makeup is a reprehensible act that demands immediate attention, investigation, and re-evaluation of practices that perpetuate such inequalities. This revelation underscores the urgent call for ethical, equitable, and just practices to safeguard the well-being of all communities regardless of their racial background. Now, this becomes very clear that the distribution of contaminated radioactive milk into predominantly African American communities is not only a health crisis, but a flagrant violation of ethical principles. The implications of such actions go beyond the physical health impact, reaching into the realm of systemic racism and environmental justice. This practice not only jeopardizes the well-being of individuals, but reinforces historical patterns of discrimination and neglect faced by minority communities. The insidious targeting of these communities with potentially harmful substances raises questions about the ethical standards governing food distribution and the responsibility of regulatory bodies to ensure the safety of all citizens. The fact that Africa has the lowest diabetes rates globally adds a layer of suspicion to the claim that diabetes is genetic in black individuals. This revelation demands urgent investigation, accountability, and re-evaluation of policies to eradicate any discriminatory practices in the food supply chain. It serves as a stark reminder that addressing health disparities must involve dismantling systemic injustices that perpetuate harm based on race. This revelation underscores a pattern of environmental racism where vulnerable communities are disproportionately burdened with the consequences of hazardous practices. The deliberate distribution of radioactive milk near nuclear power plants into areas predominantly inhabited by African Americans raises questions about the ethics of food production, distribution, and the regulatory oversight that should safeguard public health. It is an alarming reflection of systemic disparities that have persisted for generations. This sinister act not only endangers lives but perpetuates a cycle of injustice. Understanding that Africa has the lowest diabetes rates globally further challenges the claim of a genetic predisposition in black individuals. This calls for a comprehensive investigation not only into the immediate health hazards but also into the broader systemic issues perpetuating racial inequalities in environmental and public health policies. We have come to the end of the video. What do you have to say? Share your comments in the comment section down below, and see you in my next video.